One of the biggest headaches in life is the relationships. We can't live without them, and we cannot also live with them. Here, when I talk about relationship, I mean romantic relationship and marital relationship mostly. Of course, it can include parents and children, siblings, friends, and so on. What is it with relationship that makes them so difficult? We all want to be loved and we all want to love, but why is it so hard? The biggest challenge is to understand the other person's behavior. It makes us overthink beyond limits. We just cannot comprehend why that person is behaving in a particular way. Still, in order to tackle this particular case, we will have to categorize the type of behavioral issues that makes us overthink. Let's just say that some are minor behavioral issues and some are major behavioral issues. Here are some examples of major behavioral issues. The partner is alcoholic, abusive, and has some kind of compulsive behavior disorder like gambling. Some example of minor behavioral issues would be the habit of not cleaning up the room, waiting until the very last end to do anything, being lazy. In between the major and minor, you could have lots of shades of gray like anger issues, lack of commitment, holding back on one's words, being irresponsible, and the list will go on. Thus, in this particular case study, we have a person who comes to counseling because his mind is perturbed by his partner behaving in ways that make him feel very annoyed. The overthinking here will create a lot of anger at the emotional level. There might be some grains of regret in terms of the way they behave with one another. Because of the overthinking, they would have grown apart and most likely they would not be talking much with one another. Even if they communicate, it will be through yelling because there is so many things running in the person's mind. Combined, all these above symptoms will create very bad life events like children misbehaving, missing appointments, being stressed out in the job, and making mistakes that would not have otherwise been made. Even accidents would increase because overthinking makes it more likely. Cause of most relationship problems is mostly poor thinking skills. What people cannot understand is no two human beings can ever be the same. They will always differ in so many ways that there cannot be a time when both of them will want the same thing. Instead of pursuing the difference, the partners must learn to accept the differences and tolerate them. However, the attitude of my way or the highway always is a problem in relationships. Sometimes it could be a real problem, like as I've earlier mentioned, the major behavioral issues. And also, at some other times, it could be problems identified as the minor behavioral issues earlier. And when it comes to relationships, because of the people having to stay with one another for a long period of time in many circumstances, so we have to consider that one of them might be physiologically designed to think because he or she is a cerebral type. As you might recall from my earlier description, it is somebody who just needs to think a lot. On top of that, because proximity, two people have got to stay together in romantic relationships. There is no denial that past trauma will affect relationship. One of the partners have had betrayals from people around them earlier in their lives, they will tend to project that negative experience the current partner. It is sad, but it is so common. Mainly because two partners live together, both of them want to have tranquility and be recharged at the end of the day. Problem is that one might be an extrovert and the other might be an introvert. Being diagrammatically opposite won't help the relationship. We can see that with so many parameters at play here. Thinking when the relationships goes south is inevitable. That we must find a solution because there is. Quickest way to stop the overthinking when it comes to relationship matters is to have the proper philosophy. I'd like you to recall the kite analogy. When someone expects everything to be his or her way, and the overthinking will carry that person off the ground and make him overthink beyond any control. The new philosophy that the person must adopt is doesn't have to be my way only, and will be okay with going someone else's way. King's after philosophical shift is really hard, but it will pay lots of dividends in the future relationship. The other outdated philosophy that people have thrown off their windows is tolerance is a virtue. With consumerism at its highest nowadays, people live in a concept of use and throw. So if something doesn't work out or is not as expected, just throw it and have a new one. You transpose this philosophy into relationships, you only get misery. So the most important thing for people to understand when they are in relationship is that they must learn to tolerate and see difference as something serious, not be seen as a weakness. Just these two simple philosophical shifts, overthinking will reduce dramatically. Consequently, the person will find new meaning in the relationship, and they will develop a new dynamics because both of them have embraced those two philosophies. Not easy, but it's worth giving it a try. I found amazing is that most of the people are not aware of this philosophical shift from accepting other people and tolerating them. Not go into further details and description of this process, transformation of a relationship can blossom. The most beautiful flower would be beyond the scope of this book. I've given you only one remedy, and the other remedies that we have discussed will apply. However, the most important and root remedy is this one.